Hey guys, welcome to VO Buzz Weekly. Hope your holidays have been rocking.
Yes, thanks for joining us for the climactic conclusion of our conversation with Harvey and Cathy Kalmenson.
Let's get buzzed.
Turn it up.
Get ready.
You're tuned in to VO Buzz Weekly.
And now, prepare to get seriously buzzed with your hosts, Chuck Duran and Stacey J. Aswan.
What I love is people that are watching are at different levels. Some people are breaking in, some people are in and soaring, and maybe they're hitting a plateau.
Sure.
Can you give some wisdom to, let's start with somebody who's aspiring.
Yes.
What is something that they can walk away with and go, okay, now I know the path I need to go on?
Got it. The most important advice I can give you is do not make a premature demo, voiceover demo.
Gosh, yeah.
You know,
Yes.
The majority, I'd say 90% or more of the demos that I get, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being, wow, get that person in here, they're almost all 3s. 3 is not bad, average. It's a C on the report card. Average doesn't make our database.
Yep.
We have
Yeah.
over 29,000, well, almost 29,000
Yeah.
people in the database. And you know what? We'd have 100,000 if we put all the average
Right.
people in. Our clients
Yeah.
are not hiring us to bring in average at all. So someone gave them the cruel advice that, oh, if you want to get into voiceover, the first thing you got to do is make a great demo. Wrong. That would be the equivalent of, cutting a record album without any,
Right,
singing
right,
lessons, any background.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is you've got to prepare, you've got to figure out who you are in voiceover and develop your skills. And improvisation, by the way, is an important skill in voiceover as well.
Absolutely.
So I would say that's the biggest tip I can give anybody who's aspiring. So, and then start exploring. It's fun. Why, people want to, do the fast track. Why? It's actually quite a journey. It's amazing. You find yourself on that journey when you're studying the craft of acting applied to voiceover and improvisation.
Yeah.
I mean, don't skip that step.
Right, right.
And you know what? My favorite demos start out with who the person really is. And once upon a time, we don't make demos, except when we first started, very early days. I have to tell this story about Tony. There was a Kalmenson grad who was ready to make his demo. He was an executive at Universal, and he decided to retire early, and relatively young guy, and he wanted to get into voiceover. So he was nervous. And he went in to see Harvey, and Harvey could tell he was nervous. So Harvey said, hey, Tony, what do you do to relax? What's your thing? Little did he know, Harvey was actually rolling, right? And the guy goes, well, I'm Italian. He says, I love to get in the kitchen. Once I get that garlic going in the olive oil and I can smell it, he says, man, have a sip of wine, and man, I'm in, And he starts, well, we were rolling. And that was the open of Tony's demo. It was just Tony saying who he really was. Yeah. And you know what? There's short attention span theater in demos listening.
Yeah, because how long do you listen
right.
to a demo?
Could be 10 seconds, 15 seconds,
Yeah.
maybe a little longer if I'm hearing something wonderful.
really like,
Yeah, but at least tell us who you really are in that one first moment. And Harvey captured that. And you know what? Harvey made a demo tape for himself once, and once upon a time, just for fun.
Yeah.
And we're going to play that now.
You know what the first thing on it was? People annoy.
I didn't say
Okay, he said, go ahead, say what it was.
What was your lead in, Harvey?
I took a breath and smelled all the people around. I said, people annoy me. They really do.
People annoy me, they really do. That was the open to his demo. People annoy me, they really do. How perfect was that?
Your signature was captured.
That's
the harp right
They
there.
do. They do.
Are we on a scale of 1 to 10, how annoyed are you by us right now?
Successful people rarely annoy me.
That's
because
good.
there's-
We got a compliment.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
That was a
it
compliment.
was kind
Yes,
of
it
one of
was.
those sort of,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Kathy, what about for the people that have hit a plateau?
Yeah.
We said earlier in this conversation that you're not the same person you were yesterday that you are today.
Yeah.
So something you've grown and
A phone call, a moment is an eternity. Anything. 5 minutes of not saying anything, and you've changed. And people have to get that, and they have to go with it, and that's why you do a demo now. You do a demo in 5 years or 2 years, or you get something that somebody else liked, and you put that on your new demo. You're constantly changing, because if you're not changing, you're fighting it.
Right, right.
I have another idea for those out there who've been around the block. It's about keeping fresh and genuine, staying genuine.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? How do you stay fresh and genuine? I recommend you all out there, even making your six-figure livings in voiceover, you take out the yellow pad, so to speak, or your keyboard, and start doing a personal inventory list. Who are you today? Who are you? Cathy Kalmenson. Well, I am a daughter. I am a wife. I am a business owner. I am an inspired inspirer. I practice, practice yoga, love to cook. I'm impatient. You know, so now what you do is you start writing down this, it's kind of a fun exercise. You start writing down all the roles you play in life and all the things, the attitudes that you bring to life. And it's a fun game. You might even have 30 or 300 things. How great is that? Then you look at the list and then you start to circle the items that come forward as the most of who you are today. For example, daughter. My mom's back in Chicago. I'm really not daughter every day, but inspired inspirer I am, and impatient I am. So guess what? One of the first tracks on my demo, if I were making one, should be impatience or inspired.
Is this demo over yet?
Exactly. Exactly. Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So that's how one of the ways you keep fresh.
Yeah, I love that.
That's actually brilliant.
It is. It is. Because I think, when you hit those valleys, it's an opportunity or it's a punishment.
Yeah.
It's how you
Who
choose
am I
to look
today?
at it. You have an opportunity to use maybe that slower time.
Embrace who you are today.
Yeah.
And that's not who you were yesterday.
And,
Love
and
that.
also, because you
Beautiful
said
advice.
even earlier, well, both of you said this, but you are a completely different person today than you're going to be in 5 years, even 2 years
Yes.
from now, right? You're going to change. But the times are also going to change, even if you don't.
Right.
So I listen to a lot of demos where I'm like, how old is this? Because the content is a little old. And then I go, do you think that maybe if this was 3 years ago, do you think you're better today?
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm way better. Why would you show how good you
That's
were
right.
when you should be showing how good you are?
Yes.
Threes don't make it on the
That's
roster,
right.
No.
baby.
So it's a showcase of not only your current signature, but your current skill level as well.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
amen.
love the threes don't make it on the roster.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
it.
and also, it also, I think, speaks to your tenacity and your desire. How seriously do you take yourself? Is this a hobby? Is this something that you really want to make as your mainstay? And it's fine if you want it as a hobby, but I think your expectations have to be calibrated accordingly.
true.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
If you calling something a hobby is showing your lack of courage. Because if it's a hobby, you're not answerable to anything. This is your life, buddy.
Exactly.
You want to make a living at doing this, you're putting yourself and
Yeah.
your whole family at risk.
Taking the net away.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
Make no mistake. This is an acting craft.
So you guys clearly, I mean, it just flies off of you, and I love it. You have such a love story, professionally and personally, and it's so beautiful. And what do you think have been the keys to your success as partners in life and in business?
Ignorance. No.
Kathy's always right.
Thank you. Amen.
Rarely.
No, I thought you were
Okay.
going to say something else.
I'm going to say the number one thing for me is laughter. In my entire life, I was glued to my father. Absolutely glued. I adored him, okay? He was a tremendous sports fan. He made a sports fan out of me. He was a super athlete, and unfortunately came over to the United States when he was 2 years old. And
From where?
Russia. Okay. 9 brothers and sisters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's a gifted man mentally. And unfortunately, in that era, and there were no child labor laws or anything like that, so all of them were working at a very young age, and so he couldn't go anywhere near even completing grade school. Okay. I just so looked up to him about everything, and he found something to laugh about on every single thing that happened during the day, all day long, 7 days a week. And he played word games and would ask me questions because he said, you could answer anything. And he really believed it and made me believe it. Okay, he's all of 5'5.5", and we'd go to the ballpark together, Ebbets Field, and my favorite ball player was Pee Wee Reese. And one day at the ball game, we're sitting there, and my dad said, well, let's sit on the right field side because Pee Wee swings from the right, and if he fouls the ball off, it's going to be going over the first base side. And lo and behold, Pee Wee Reese comes up, fouls off a ball, and my dad stands up, 5'5.5", and catches it in his left hand, one-hand catch.
Wow.
Like that. And Ebbets Field, all the Brooklyn fans, hey, great play, me. They're all cheering for my father, and he's bowing to all of them, taking a bow. I had that ball, I treasured it, all right? And that really was laughter, and then I saw from all the people that I was learning from and adoring as I went along. I mentioned Mel Brooks, but Gary Marshall, that I worked for,
yeah.
okay? which is another story when he went out and discovered Robin Williams, but I'm not going to get into because it's...
We're not talking about Robin
Because
Williams.
it's about Cathy.
We're talking about Cathy.
But the laughter is what it's at. Yeah. And so then when I'm introduced to Cathy and her mother, who's coming out here shortly, they're all Germans. And so picture an audience where they all laugh.
No, this is how I laugh. That's funny. I actually
I'm
just
hysterical
say, I just
inside.
say, that's funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's funny.
That's why you think she doesn't think you're funny, because she's actually really laughing
That's right.
inside.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
We needed this moment. Thank
Yes.
you.
We
Thank
did.
you.
We know.
Actually, this is not even about voiceover. This is an intervention.
So
And
to
so
him, the
we're
secret is laughter.
Yes.
Yes.
And he finds, the comedy and the laughter.
Yes.
What about for you? What do you think is the secret to your longevity of, doing business and love?
Well, I thought he was going to say single malt Scotch.
Oh.
Single malt Scotch.
That keeps me
I
laughing.
really thought so.
Oh, yeah.
Because
We're
that
both-
helps.
Yes.
Okay, that does help.
Okay.
But beyond that, truthfully, it's appreciation for each other's strengths.
Yeah.
And
yes.
also anticipating each other's needs. Truly, that's the definition of being a great team player.
Yep.
Anticipating.
Yep.
And that's what we do.
Yep.
Yeah, Harvey's super at it.
Yeah, he really, you know what? Here's the great thing is that the two of you are so good at what you do individually that it just shines out like crazy.
I know, you're very emotional.
When I
It's
was
so
talking to you on the
sweet. I
phone
know.
a couple days ago and you were talking, I was like, oh my God, she's like, and then I didn't get to talk to you, Harvey, but even before we started recording tonight and you and I were talking, I was like, wow, it's amazing how she is, this is her gig here, and this is his gig there, and the two of you just, oh, I don't take that, that's Harvey's.
Yep.
Oh, I don't take that, that's Cathy. And you value each other's strengths so highly.
That's very true.
Yes.
That's lovely,
Yes.
lovely, I have
Yeah.
to say.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you.
It is, and I have one gear that I operate with.
Yeah.
Go as fast as I can and as hard as I can for as long as I can.
Yeah.
Okay? And my attitude towards everything is that way. So it's very simple. You don't have to be bright. You just go, go, go.
Yeah.
Okay? And you don't have to worry about okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the same thing is with regard to my house and my family.
Well, and
I
you have
f-
no regrets because you didn't leave anything. You didn't leave anything. behind.
If
You left it
someone endangers my family, I have one gear, I have to kill them.
on. Good to know. You've been warned.
You know what?
No warning.
I have the same gear.
No warning.
Yeah.
Warning, and you warn somebody, you know what, I'm going to hit you. They'll hit you first.
Right,
Right.
right.
No warning.
Yeah.
Back to my dad, 9 brothers, and there was no warning.
Brothers.
9 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Cathy knows that. And so it helps her not to be fearful in a lot of places, because I've been in situations, let's say.
Yeah.
in my
He's
life.
been down the road a little further than I have.
Well, we know
Yeah.
the war
Yes.
and the playing and the.
It's
Yeah.
a different ballgame.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
a different ballgame
Yeah.
because it's a crapshoot.
But I think it's important, like you said, to give each other permission to give each other permission to be who you are.
Yep.
You celebrate each other's strengths, the stuff you're maybe not good at or don't want to do. That's what we do. It's like we each do our
Absolutely.
thing, and then what we don't know how to do or we're not sure of, we just divide it up and we figure it out.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
accept failure, because
Yeah.
if you're going to take enough chances,
Totally.
you have to fail. A good hitter
great opportunity to learn
only
something.
succeeds a third of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not only that, everything that we've done together, all our trials and tribulations, has made us stronger. It actually, things that would separate people actually made us
brought us
Yes.
closer together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
Love
how that
that.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bathroom
That's a
tile.
true team
Yeah.
and a true partnership
Yeah.
right
Yes,
there.
amen.
And we're both,
Yeah.
without getting corny, we're both spiritual and we're both believers in. There's got to be a higher power, because otherwise it's really stupid.
Absolutely. Well, I'm right there with you, brother.
Yeah, because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Praise the Lord. Let's.
Amen.
Pass the sauce.
I want to ask you this because this is really important. Celebrity casting.
Yes.
What's happening there? How do you look at that whole celebrity thing? And I don't know how to put it. I mean, they're not necessarily.
What's your perspective
Yeah.
on
What's your
that?
perspective?
Well, first of all, it's nothing new. It's been around for quite a while. People
kidding.
think, oh, lately all these celebrities are taking away all our work. Guys, there's more scale work by far than
Than
celebrity work
ever
out there.
before.
I mean, oh my gosh.
It's not even close.
Yeah. So what's happening is you see these few high-profile commercials out there that have voices or on-camera celebrities, and you go, woe is me. Oh my God, there's so much that you can do that they can't do.
Yeah.
There's on so many levels. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So
Yeah.
that's one. Number two, I do believe that they're using celebrities as do you think we can get that person? Because they feel that that person's been let into our lives on some level, psychologically, subconsciously, so we will let them in again. So there's a leg up, there's an openness,
Right.
there's a sometimes it's a recognizability, and sometimes I don't know why, but I want to let this person in on some level kind of
Yeah.
thing. Also, too, celebrities have gone through finding their truth and being the truth of their truth and went, that just set me free. This whole time I kept asking, what do you want me to be? What do you need me to be on this one?
Yeah.
Oh my
Right.
God, I finally started being myself, and that's when I hit.
Yep.
If it's
Yeah.
good enough for the celebrities, guys, why wouldn't
Right.
it be good enough for
Right.
you? So what's happened is they got the freedom of being who they really are, and that's the genuineness that we're trying to teach and bring
Yep.
out of you,
Yes.
kind of a thing.
Yes.
So that's another reason why I have the popularity. Although it's funny because celebrities, as time goes on, they become caricatures of themselves.
Totally.
What's the old story? It's like who's so and so?
Right.
Get me so and so. Get me a younger so and so, and then who's so and so?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's how it goes.
Exactly.
But anyway, yeah. And I will tell you this: recently, very recently, a huge jewelry campaign that we did, and we auditioned a lot of celebrities, and they ended up going scale, and they didn't choose the celebrity. So that happens too. You know what? Some of the celebrity agents get frustrated and go, yeah, there's been a trend lately that they
Right,
ended up,
right.
yeah, we got
Not
you all these
using the
people, and now
celebrity.
you're not using our people. What's
See,
going
if
on?
we could do the
Yeah.
non-celebrity for celebrity pay, now
Yes.
there's something.
See, there you go. I don't know about that.
That's
We'll work
good.
on that in
Yeah, we're
2017.
working on that. That'll be the next show.
Stacey, that's funny.
Ah, look.
Oh my God!
You know,
I
right
never.
here, you made yourself laugh
See?
on that one.
I got it. That's
Goodness
funny,
gracious.
Harv.
See?
How do each of you stay inspired in the business that you do?
Well,
I mean, because you've been doing it for a long time, man. So something's got to keep you really going.
And you're still doing it. So.
And it's not just the bucks.
it's about creativity. We find some glimmer of creativity in each of the projects. That's what we look for. And casting is quite creative. You can think outside the box. I depend on being inspired by actors being who they really are. Fantastic. You've been around actors. You know how it is. Wow, incredible. Thank you for being honestly who you really are. That's inspiring. And then that light, you being the light of who you are, inspires other lights. If she's being real, I can be real too. And then there's this whole symphony of real out there.
Yeah.
So genuineness.
Yeah.
When people genuinely come along and are who they really are, that keeps me in the game.
That's cool.
Yeah. How about you, Harv?
I would try to answer without being convoluted because it is the longer you exist at anything, the more it changes. My life has changed. My attitude towards things has changed. I would say that I study as hard, if not harder, than any of the actors for me to keep track of trends, all right? Because the whole world is changing right now. Well, you were asked a question
Big
earlier about trends. Okay, I try to have some kind of a spirited input with actors who are not cognizant the way I am of things, and that kind of inspires me. If I can get through to somebody, I like the challenge.
Yeah.
I like the challenge because I'm playing my own game.
Yep.
Okay. I really, the longer I'm at it, the less I depend on an actor inspiring me.
Yeah.
It's like an old note over and over again. How many times is Picasso going to come along? Very few. Okay. I've had some great experiences, and there's always another one right around the door.
Right.
I
Or
think
around the corner, rather.
Yeah.
we both get great satisfaction and gratification from having students who have found who they are.
Yeah.
Wow, we introduced them to themselves.
Yeah.
And we said it's okay to be that.
Yeah, and something happened today that was very funny to me. I couldn't wait for Kath to get home so I could explain it to her, because within the voiceover world, people have a gross exaggeration of how important I am.
Right.
And I think it's so funny. Because the most important thing is we both have good health.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can fight the wars.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you get a little chest pain, all of a sudden you don't feel like fighting
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so that's inspiring. Okay. And occasionally something happens that's totally out of left field that I didn't expect. It makes me laugh. Okay. This attorney was calling to make an appointment to talk to me about something out of a friend would ask him. Okay. While I'm on the phone, I said, okay, I can give you a half hour, and I give him my name. And he says, can I have your name again? And I gave him the name again. He says, you're Harvey Kalmenson? Like this young attorney on the phone.
Yeah.
And I can see his face through the phone line.
Yeah.
He's psyched out about who he's talking to. And I'm saying to myself, oh, for Christ's sake, it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. Okay? And we get that a lot.
Yeah.
All right. And so that's
Yeah.
kind of funny. I don't know if that's inspiring. Well, what's inspiring to me, how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It is.
No, it's when you don't believe your own hype.
Exactly.
You know, it's better
If
for
you can
other
make fun
people
of
to
the
brag
hype,
about
then
you
yeah.
and you know.
I know.
mean, what do you and you can answer this, I guess, for yourself, or you could answer about each other. What do you think is your most lovable quality? What do you really dig about yourself?
I think about each other is better.
Okay.
okay. Her stick-to-itiveness. She gets on something, and I mean, this is a bulldog with a raw piece of meat. Okay? And she
true.
gets that from
Medium
her
rare.
mother.
Medium rare.
She gets it from her mother.
Yeah.
She gets on something. I may not agree with what she's saying, but I have to admire the tenacity.
Respect it, yeah.
Tenacity is a great word.
Yeah.
Tenacity.
Completely.
You're knocked down, but you still get back
Oh,
up.
my-
Okay, it's time to give up. Are you ready to give up? No, you son of a bitch. I'm not giving up. I'm not dead. And she goes, why are they doing that? Okay, I love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is
All
so
right.
cute.
Okay. Okay. Harvey wants to help. Ever since he was a kid, raising the flag at PS
233.
233.
Brooklyn.
He used to be rushed to school to beat Carl
Smith.
to raise the flag.
He was a punk kid.
And Harvey always wanted to do that.
I kicked
Harvey,
his ass.
Harvey was captain of the crossing guards.
Cleanup guards.
Cleanup guards. Okay.
Yeah, I
Harvey
got the
was-
East New York Savings Bank Medal for service.
Bottom line,
to the
you know,
third grade
as a little
community.
boy, he saw Dad, the man's shoe is untied, you know, and he went to go tie the
Right.
man's shoe. I mean, those are examples of like the man who he has become is based
Yeah.
on that little boy who wants
Right.
to help.
Right.
And so
Exactly.
Harvey is there, and sometimes people don't want his help.
They never wanted
they
it.
want Harvey always wants to help. I mean, man, you know, so many ways in our life with strangers even.
It's a
And the other
curse.
thing
So
is
your bark is worse than your bite. Is that what we should get
he-
from this?
Bark? I don't bark.
well, actually,
bark.
on the flip side of that though is he's a protector.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
I've heard him say, you know, a fun example of our relationships. He says, "This is Cathy. She's my wife. You hurt her, I'd kill you." You know,
Right.
you heard
Yep,
that.
yep,
Yes.
And so he is truly a protector. And so sometimes he's misunderstood when he's in protector mode.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care for people who get into a crisis situation. The first words are, everybody run!
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, okay, let's
let's
deal
stick
with
around and deal with it.
Hey, we
Absolutely.
survived building a house together.
Oh,
you go.
God.
One of many
There you
things
go.
we survived.
We can't have you here without because you have to have an amazing answer. What are some standout? What's a standout favorite project or strangest project
That
that's
you've
come
cast,
through?
yes.
All right. Well, the shortest answer is the strangest.
Okay.
The weirdest thing that we ever cast, and there's two different things. One is Roadkill, the voice of talking Roadkill.
Oh.
It was for an athletic shoe, and the runner was running by, and the Roadkill's going, "Check out those shoes." Yeah, I know.
Wow.
It was kind of Spike TV-ish kind of guy humor.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought that's talking Roadkill. Wow.
That's
okay.
fun.
Somebody
that
came
should
up with that.
translate.
Yes, somebody
Yeah.
did. And then the other weird thing was it's just like so obscure. It's okay. You ready? You're the voice of a piece of scrambled egg stuck in a kitchen scouring pad. That's your role. Go. Scrambled egg in a scouring pad.
Can you think of,
But don't make it charactery
Exactly.
and
Yeah,
don't
keep
make
it real.
keep it conversational.
That's it.
can you imagine the degenerate moron that figured that one out?
No, No, I can't. I really can't. What are you thinking
Harvey,
of?
I hate how you're just not clear with how you feel.
I know.
I never know where you're coming from.
Okay, I'm going to give you a really nice one then.
Okay.
Okay.
That's so.
And it's not a commercial. I was casting and directing a movie for Don Bluth, and we had hundreds of little kids that we had to cast, and for some reason, little children see right through you. Okay, and they gravitate to me like, "Hey, you ain't scaring me, mister." You know, that's the way little kids are.
Yeah.
And we had all of these kids, and this one little girl booked the role. She was 4.5.
Wow.
She could read at 4.5. And she was instantly, I don't want to get woo-woo, but she was instantly my soulmate.
Wow.
The social worker who was assigned to the movie said, Harv, I've never seen anything like this before. This little kid at 4.5 would show up with her mother, and she would look around and see me across the stage, and she would take off running and jump into my arms, put her head on my shoulder for a few seconds, like 30 seconds, and then look at me and say, I'm ready now, Harp.
Wow.
It was
and
incredible.
you just melted away.
And she took direction, and she was crying on cue and laughing on cue and doing the whole thing and stuff like this. So now along comes Don Bluth to visit one day and see what's going on here like this. And he made the mistake of something you never do with a child. He bent down and picked her up. You never do that because he figured, you know, she's going to love me. I'm a Mormon, okay?
Yeah.
And so you can cut that out. But I think it's kind of funny, isn't it?
It's really funny. I like it.
I can tell
Kathy's
he's falling
actually
on
laughing.
it. Yeah.
It's hysterical.
You got me.
She got you.
I'm
You got
laughing
her, buddy.
myself. 'cause
Finally got her.
It's all going to be in the set at the Laugh Factory.
Oh my
The
God.
kids gotta love me. I'm a Mormon.
I know. I love it.
I love that one. But anyway, she tightened up in his arms, stiffened up. He had to put her down. Okay? And that was my highlight of my entire career. That little kid.
Trusting you.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
she one day came by the studio, and I hadn't seen her in 12 years.
Wow. 12 years later?
Actually, it was 14 years later. She was 18 years old or something like that. And this girl comes in, and she's a normal, average, everyday person, and I didn't even recognize her.
Wow.
Okay, until she said, "Hi, Harvey, I'm..."
And you
her
were
last-
blown away.
Yeah, things change
so
over.
cool, man.
Yes, but
Yeah.
it was the highlight. That
Yeah.
was such a highlight
Yeah.
because
I love that.
to be able to communicate like that with a 4.5-year-old.
Absolutely, man. And something that touches your heart in such
really-
a big
it was
way.
a
You
worth-
carry it with
Yeah.
you for the rest of your life.
So, what is your favorite?
Well, I think you'll agree. It's what I think both of our favorites.
I have choice.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
it was called Beyond All Boundaries,
Oh yeah.
and
oh, yeah.
it was the story of World War II.
That was marvelous.
And Tom Hanks was the executive producer of it. And if you go to New Orleans and go to the World War II Museum, they have an amazing 4-dimensional theater, 4D.
4D.
You know, when it snows on screen, it snows on the audience. You know, when the bomb, the atomic bomb happens, there's black and there's a whoosh and a strobe, and you feel the air on you. It's really whoa. You know,
Breathtaking.
and when that the tanks come over the hill, you know you can feel it in your chairs and everything. It's not like some like simulator ride kind of thing. It's really something. But it was all celebrity cast, pretty much most of it.
Yeah.
90% of it was. And I mean, there was an amazing cast, and that was really something. I know that it was something because we flew to New Orleans, and we were invited to this amazing meal and to meet everybody that were part of the team. And we were in the hotel room, and this woman came scuffing by in her slippers in the lobby from the coffee area, and she said, "Oh, hi," and she said, "Are you in town for that? We're here with the veterans to watch the opening of this museum and this film and this theater thing. I said, actually, while we were part of the film, we did the voiceover casting in it. And this stranger, this little woman in the hotel lobby, she grabbed me by the arm and she almost started to cry. She said, oh my God, what a gift it was. Thank you so much. The voices were unbelievably effective. Thank you. She was grateful. A stranger was grateful.
Wow, that's
for that
cool.
kind of- and now it's part of history, and little kids will be affected by that and in their life's journey. So
That's a good
we love
one.
that.
That was a
Yeah.
real.
I love that.
Part
It was
of
a
the
very-
legacy.
very
I
good.
love
part of
that.
history.
Yes.
Part
Yes,
of history is
amen.
legacy.
Thank you.
Legacy.
Yeah, baby.
I love
Okay,
that.
let's put them on the spot
All right.
and give them a little.
Today's mysteries. Pick a
All
card.
right. Oh, this
Just
is
one card.
See
Yes,
what it
this is the one. This
Okay.
is the one.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to do it?
Okay.
All right.
All right. What's your favorite dessert? I like that question.
It's a good question.
You know what? Take two, Stacey, really.
All right.
Why don't you do it with a little more elfin curiosity?
Ooh.
Take two.
What's your favorite dessert?
Got it. Great. How about take three? How about dishing, girlfriends to girlfriend, dishing?
Girl, what is your favorite dessert? Seriously.
Got it. Now, this one's the most Stacey version.
Okay.
Your truth.
What's your favorite dessert?
Really? The answer is, I was so busy directing you, I didn't even think about it. That's hilarious. Okay, my favorite dessert is, carrot cake.
Carrot cake.
Love carrot cake.
Okay.
That was our wedding cake.
OMG.
I am going to make you the best carrot cake.
Okay.
My beautiful mother, my beautiful German mother,
oh,
has the best carrot
my
cake
God.
recipe with
Stop
cream
it.
cheese frosting.
oh my God, my favorite.
I am bringing you a carrot cake.
I love you.
Nice.
Okay, good.
No strings attached.
No
yeah.
strings attached.
Harvey,
Harvey Kalmenson. You want
precious, would you like
Harvey Kalmenson.
I like when
Pick a
German
card.
women say
Any
Achtung.
card.
Right before an important incident, you will pay attention. Achtung, you would just
You wanna read it or
swallow
you want
face.
Stacey to
No,
read
I
it?
can't see without my
Yeah,
glasses.
yeah.
I have my
Okay.
glasses here.
Chuck, do you want to
Stacey
read
will
it?
No,
What
Stacey
about
will
you
read
reading it?
I
You
don't
read it.
I don't
Harvey
read it.
wants you to read
First
it,
of all,
Chuck.
I don't read. What? I don't. Where are my glasses?
Oh my gosh, I love this. This is so awesome.
What do you most admire about your parents?
Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
We talked about your
okay.
dad.
Oh, my. One word, tenacity.
Tenacity.
All right?
That's what I have too.
Tenacity and followed by great courage. Because tenacity and courage are two different words, believe it or not. And somebody like somebody else, if you said that to Orson Welles,
Oh yeah.
he would say,
Here you
why,
go,
of
baby.
course. But tenacity and courage. All right. Never quitting.
Never quitting.
Never
Love that.
quitting.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, you
Not
got a
till
couple
it's all
scoops
over.
of that for yourself, so
I
good
love
for you.
that.
Good for
I
them.
love that.
Yep.
Well,
They raised a
listen,
fine young man.
I have to say something. First of all, we've known about you for gazillions of years, okay? Since I've been in business doing what I'm doing, your name has always been right there at the top
Yes.
of
Thank you.
everything that
Thank
has
you.
ever been happening. We've never met, although we've known about each other for quite some
Yes.
time. And I feel so fortunate to have had the chance, and I know Stacey,
Yes.
I'm speaking for both of us,
Yes.
to have actually had the opportunity, because you guys don't do this with a lot of people.
That is true.
Right.
And we feel so fortunate that you guys came here and are so
And you trust
gracious
us
with
to tell your story.
Absolutely.
That means a lot to us.
Absolutely,
It means
because
a lot to us.
more important than giving you tips and tricks and blah 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 and all this stuff is if you can get inside the head
Mm-hmm.
of the people who build incredible empires. That's what you take with you so that you can build an incredible empire yourself. So I just want to say thank you for everything that you've been doing, have done, and continue to do.
How nice.
Thank you.
You are
Absolutely
you are a
appreciate
best
it.
friend to this industry, and
thank
you
you.
are blessings to the world. And
How nice.
Thank
How
you
nice.
so much. You're always welcome here.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank
That's
you very
really
much.
cool.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you for the opportunity to share what we have known to be truths.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Can I just add one word to what you said? No, I don't want to get the last word in, but when you said building an incredible empire,
Yeah.
and what builds an incredible empire is when it lasts.
Yeah.
And it only lasts if it keeps growing. So if you translate that into business, you have no choice. Either you grow or get out.
Yeah.
There is no standing still
No.
because that axis keeps turning. If you can say that to the actors, maybe they'll keep practicing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well,
this is such a great way
absolutely.
to cap off our 5th season.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
And of course, Harvey had the last word there.
Well, I'm not done yet. That's it. You guys can find Harvey and Cathy on Twitter at Kalmenson, and check out kalmenson.com for all the class information and just more about their impressive body of work. But thank you so much. It was so wonderful to get to
Thank you.
be with you as people as well as entrepreneurs. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
Danke schön.
Hey, we'll see you guys next time.
I'm Cathy Kalmenson.
And I'm Harvey Kalmenson.
And we just got buzzed
by
with Chuck
and Stacey. It's bye.
It's bye.
Yes, Chuck and Stacey.
And we say, keep it genuine and don't be afraid.
Right.
All right, that's all we have with Harvey and Cathy Kalmenson. Kalmenson and Kalmenson. Wow.
Amazing.
That was a special treat for me and for Stacey. Hope you guys really enjoyed all the wisdom they have to offer.
Yes.
And if you live in Los Angeles and you have not studied in Kalmenson and Kalmenson, you're
need
missing the
to.
boat. You're missing the boat.
Absolutely. You guys, we hope you're having an amazing holiday season. Guess what? We'll be back in 2017 with season 6.
Yeah,
And
baby.
in the meantime, keep up with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We love you guys. Thanks for watching. And just remember, you always have time for a little buzz. Ditto.
Ditto.
Come on, come on, come on and get buzzed with us.
VO Buzz Weekly is sponsored by Chuck Duran's Demos That Rock. The voiceover demo producer to the stars is now available to you. Visit demosthatrock.com and take your voiceover career to the next level.
See you next time. And remember, you always have time for a little buzz.